The Icarus Club, Coolfire Media, and Techley.com present. From Lab 1500 in St. Louis, Missouri, it's the Domain Tech Report with your host, Edward Domain, along with the fabulous Karen Tomer. Edward's guest this time, Gabe Lozano. And now, here's Ed.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Domain Tech Report. We're at Lab 1500 in downtown St. Louis. I'd like to introduce you to my fabulous co-host, Karen Tomer. Karen.
We're gonna have to do that,
right? So, Internet, let's have a brief chat. Some of you are wondering who I am. Don't adjust the HD settings on your laptop. I'm actually just this handsome. Wow. The audience took a minute to agree with me. So what we're doing here, the reason that we're here is St. Louis has a very burgeoning startup community. And so we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about all the great things happening here. We're going to talk to great entrepreneurs. And as we go through the season, we're actually going to be able to have some people from outside of St. Louis. But tonight, it's all about St. Louis. How are you tonight, Karen?
Doing good.
Fantastic.
Good. You gonna thank the lovely Jenna?
I am. Thank you for saying that. So Jenna Petroff, thank you so much for coming out with me tonight. I appreciate you being my escort. She's beautiful, she's poised, and Jenna, I am single. Call me. Now, I know we'll edit this out later. Don't worry about it. We can screw around.
We don't have funding for editing.
We don't have funding for editing.
You know that, right? One take.
Yeah.
One take.
Sorry, but anyway, we appreciate all of you being here tonight, and we're going to have a fantastic show for you. We have the hottest startup in St. Louis, the CEO of LockerDome, which you may or may not have heard of, but you're going to tonight. So stick around, and when we come back, we're going to introduce you to Gabe Lozano from LockerDome.
I hate getting older, but you know what the worst part is? Well, Sloth, I have to wipe my internet history every night in case I die of a heart attack in my sleep. Yeah.
Thank you, Internet. Thank you very much for being here. So next, there is a startup in St. Louis that seems like an overnight success. We're going to find out if that's true or not. Please welcome the CEO of LockerDome.com, Gabe Lozano. Gabe!
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for being here, sir.
Thank you. How you doing? I'll take the applause.
Yeah! So, Gabe, I really appreciate you being here tonight. You've met Karen.
Now, yes.
Tell us about LockerDome. What is it and how did you start?
Sure. So LockerDome is a social media platform for sports. We're the fastest growing sports site in the entire world. We're the most capital efficient online sports startup in history.
Most capital efficient online sports site in history. What does that mean?
It means that we spend very little money and we grow really fast.
Very good. So one of the things that we now know about LockerDome is that you just crossed over 10 million unique visitors a month. Is that true?
That is correct.
Yes, exactly. Yes. It's a big deal. And in internet terms, that's very important. So how many total page views do you have?
Can't disclose that, Ed.
It's my show. Come on, man. You know, I've covered LockerDome on Techley.com. We've written articles about it, and Gabe always likes to play coy. He's the shy girl, you know. But come on, Gabe. Come on. We're dating now. We've been out a couple times.
You promised you wouldn't ask him that.
You're right. I did promise. I'm sorry. So here's the deal, Internet. When it comes to websites, the most important thing is how many unique visitors you have. LockerDome, our buddy Gabe over here, has over 10 million unique visitors a month. But what that means, if you, Internet, go to visit LockerDome and you start clicking on some pages and you check out some different things on the site, every time you click on something, you get a new page. So if you look at 3 different pages, that counts as 3 page views for your visit. Now take that to 8 million people, and then I can start to figure out how much money Gabe makes. He knows this, and he doesn't really want to reveal it yet.
Well, it's not 8 million people, it's 10.
Oh, 10 million. I'm sorry, 10 million. The last time I wrote about him, he was at 5 million page views. Now he's up to 10. So you just crossed over 10 million page views.
Not page views, 10 million unique.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. Did I say that wrong? So the Bleacher Report, which is a very famous sports site, has about 500 million page views a month. How many did you say Locker Dome was at?
I'm not sure.
We're not going to go there. Very well. Moving on. So everyone thinks that startups, when they hear about them hitting great success, they seem like an overnight success. And everyone's like, startups are awesome. How long have you been working on Locker Dome?
2006.
2006. So it wasn't really an overnight success. It was more like a 6 to 7 year success.
Yeah, that's about
Tell
right.
me about the early days. Right now, everyone thinks you're awesome. Everyone thinks you're great. Gabe Lozano hangs out with movie stars. What about the early days?
One, I don't hang out with any movie stars, so not true. But no, we actually, in 06, we tried to launch this, and it took us to 08 to actually get a product out the door. And in 08, when we launched it, I literally was doing this in my mom's house, and she did not create a profile. So we always joke about it.
Wait. So you're telling me your own mother thought your business sucked?
My mom thought it was terrible.
She thought it was terrible and wouldn't create a profile. Does she have a profile now?
Of course, she spammed her friends.
Good job, Mom. Good job. Okay, so those were the early days. When did you realize, or when did you finally start to hit your stride, and when did things start growing for you?
For us, it was actually in January of 2012, last year. About 13 months ago, we started growing 14% week over week.
14% week over week. So over 10 million unique visitors a month, and you're growing at over 14% week over week. Now, I also understand you have just signed a very lucrative deal. I'm sure you won't tell us the specifics. So, but with USA Today Sports, is that correct?
That's correct.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's a rev share deal. So what we do is they have their sales team go out and sell our inventory, and then we rev share on that, and we also have a traffic roll-up. So if you look at why...
Now, for the folks at home, for the internet, a traffic roll-up, what does that mean?
Basically means USA Today Sports Properties, they have, they have 20 million plus monthly uniques.
Yeah.
And what they'll do is they'll take our traffic, they roll it up, so when they have a big ad network, that ad network is sold across the board, their properties and our properties.
Sure. So so now that you're a part of their network, they're gonna be able to sell advertising not only on their sites but on Locker Dome sites.
Yeah, and what it does is actually raises their CPMs across the board. So for them, they actually make more money.
Sure.
In return, we make money.
And now CPM, for those that don't know, stands for cost per thousand. The M is the Roman numeral for 1,000, and that's how ads are sold. So if you had, let's say, a $10 CPM and 1 million people see the ad, that's $10,000. So really, how many total page views do you have now that you're in the USA Today network?
My math isn't very good.
Well played, sir. Well played. You have I know you're very big on culture at your company. Locker Dome is big on culture. Tell me a little bit about that, and tell me the horrible rumor I've heard about locker dorms. Not Locker Dome, locker dorms like college. What does that mean? What's a locker dorm?
So at Locker Dome, we pride ourselves on outworking everybody else. And that's one of the things from the start. We hire smart guys, but we want to outpace everybody by the fact that we can just work harder.
Is that why you think you can outsmart me on the page view question?
Potentially.
Okay.
So I just run faster. But what we do is we encourage guys to work their butts off. And because we'll put in stretches, they might be 20 hours, 30 hours. We started putting mattresses on the floor. When we moved into the new office, we actually took rooms and we made them locker dorms, or sleeping rooms.
Now, you don't actually have chains on the wall forcing anybody to sleep there,
Of course
correct?
we do.
Of course you do. But you really were, you and I actually do know each other outside of here,
Sure.
and we'll communicate, and you'll be like, we just did a 20-hour stretch going out to breakfast. That actually happens.
Absolutely.
True, and Jim McKelvey, who is the co-founder of Square, St. Louis native, great entrepreneur, I believe he said, I knew Locker Dome was the real deal once I saw the mattresses on the floor.
He did say that.
So you're a Silicon Valley startup in St. Louis.
I think we're better than Silicon Valley because the energy here is different. You know, you have people that are absolutely inspired here, and when you combine that with real talent and a work ethic, you just create a better environment.
So tell me a little bit more about St. Louis then. When people think startups, I mean, when I lived in San Francisco, everyone said it was the flyover country. You're either Bay Area, or you were New York, or you were nothing. Right. So now we're here in St. Louis. Nobody really thinks St. Louis, but I think that might be starting to change with some of the initiatives going on here. How has building a startup in St. Louis been for you, and how do you see St. Louis fitting into the overall ecosystem?
Yeah, a couple years ago, I actually would have had a different opinion. I always thought that I would move out to Silicon Valley. And I spent a lot of my time on the road in Silicon Valley, LA, New York. One of the things that I learned is in the last 18 months, when you get people that are inspired, great things tend to happen. And right now there are a lot of people that they just want to see success happen. And
Sure.
what it's done is it's opened up, Locker Dome's really analogous to the scene in that everything that's happening right now is an extension of a lot of people over a long period of time where it's just coming together really well. And because of that, it's opened up capital resources and it's allowed us to stay here.
Right on. Now tell me, you spoke about capital resources. One of the biggest problems for a startup is they either can't raise enough money and flame out, or they raise too much and don't have a good team. Sounds like you have a good team. Sounds like you have good execution. The business is growing. How much money have you raised, and where are you at in the fundraising process?
We've raised over $8 million.
$8 million.
So we
right on. Yeah. Huh? Yeah. And that's your Series A?
Even better. So our Series A is $6 million. We were offered over $18 million over an 8-day stretch.
$18 million.
Yep. And we turned down $12 million, took $6 million for our Series A, did a step up in valuation.
Sure.
And a lot of that money came from St. Louis.
Now, I'm assuming that, and a lot of the money, would you like to tell us who some of your investors are?
We can't disclose all of them, but we have investors from professional teams all the way to Cultivation Capital's Growth Fund. It has invested as part of our lead.
Cultivation Capital, friend of the show, right? At least they will be. So, and you have famous athletes that are on the site. One of the big things about Locker Dome is that it's not Twitter, but it's a way for famous athletes, major league athletes of all sports, to connect with their fans. What is the main difference? Why should I not just go follow an athlete on Twitter? Why should I follow them on Locker Dome?
Yeah, if you follow an athlete on Twitter, it's really about a status message. So they'll put very simple text messages that happen in real time. We don't want to be a status message where everything past that. So if they're going to do a contest, they're going to have a photo, a video, an article. The real engagement usually comes from past that initial status message.
Sure.
And most people, geeks, would describe Twitter as a link discovery service. So you go there to click and go somewhere else.
Sure.
And we're that somewhere else.
Okay, and who was the first big athlete? Who was your first big get?
Troy Polamalu.
Troy Polamalu. Pittsburgh Steelers, big crazy hair.
Yeah, Head and Shoulders.
Head and Shoulders commercials, right? So is Head and Shoulders a sponsor on Locker Dome yet? I think maybe you need to work that in.
After you show them the show, they might be.
Right. So, you've gotten a lot of attention. Everyone's very excited. And I, on Techly.com, I publicly declared you're now St. Louis's pinup boy for startups. You're the first really big success to come blasting out of St. Louis. The value of the company, correct me if I'm wrong, is going up by over $1 million a day. So that means tomorrow you're worth $1 million more than you were yesterday. Correct?
That is correct.
I am so glad we became friends before that happened. So congratulations on that. But of all the press you've gotten, and obviously there's the local press, the St. Louis Business Journal, we love you, Amir, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, other news outlets, where have you gotten the most social shares and the most traffic from?
Techly.
Techly.com, imagine that. What are the odds, huh? Right on. All right, so Gabe, thank you very much for being here. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. We like you. Everyone, give it up for Gabe Lozano. Locker Dome. We'll be right back, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for coming to our first episode of the Domain Tech Report. Good night!